Hello everybody, here we are today talking about the Leon Draisaitl extension and getting on in all of that. So before we get started, please make sure to subscribe if you're new to me or hockey, whatever the case may be. That being said, let's get on into it. Well, there's not really much more to say than holy cow, as Leon Draisaitl signed an 8-year, $112 million extension with the Oilers, getting paid for a very long time, getting paid a lot of money. And this is a big deal to have ramifications in the league and for the Oilers for the foreseeable future. And it's something that is a big W for Leon Draisaitl, of course, as his long-term future is set. But I think especially for the Oilers, this is a big deal. They are a team that is in win-now mode. And I would argue not many other teams are probably in win-now mode more than the Oilers. A very old roster by average age. They are a team that was on the verge, the precipice of winning the Stanley Cup last year before falling in Game 7, and are a side that, again, probably wants to keep this group together because they've gone to the Western Conference Final 2 times over the past 3 years and have a lot of firepower, just a team that can score a lot of goals. And by keeping Leon Draisaitl, I think it does one of two things. Obviously, one, it keeps Draisaitl, and with that, I think it also allows for Draisaitl's future to be less of a problem, less of a talking point here, as there was concern about, is he going to be traded? Is this going to be the last season that he's here? Who is going to get him in free agency? How will that impact the Oilers? All of that stuff. But I think on the second hand too, it pretty much confirms what we're probably going to be expecting, and that is Connor McDavid is here to stay. Why is that exactly? Well, if you see Draisaitl getting paid and being kept around as their second best player, surely they're going to figure out a way to pay their best player, and that is McDavid, as he is a free agent, not this season, but I believe the season after this. Connor McDavid is an NHL superstar, and these two form a dynamic duo that nobody in the league at the moment, I think, can match in terms of what they can bring to the table, especially when you look at the forward group. And I think for Leon Draisaitl especially, this is really, really cool. As a player that was taken, fourth overall by them at this point. I remember the very early stages of his career, right when he had that breakout season. Everybody was thinking, oh, is this going to be a flash-in-the-pan deal? No, it's not, as Draisaitl is a guy that has scored 50 goals or more on 3 times in his career, a player that has won NHL hardware, and is now part of an Oilers side that is better than what we've seen in a very long time. And I know he will not go down as like guys like Gretzky and Messier and all these guys like Coffey and whatnot, but him and McDavid, I think, really have the potential to go down as a very special duo for the Oilers in the coming years if they win just one championship, because for a long time it felt like the Oilers were never going to be back in the Stanley Cup final again, let alone be in a spot to go out there and compete for it. But with what we're seeing at the moment right now, Draisaitl and the Oilers are well suited to compete for the next 2 years especially. You don't have to hear about the nagging questions about the future, at least for now, and they can be very, very aggressive. Are there questions for the future? Absolutely there are. But in the next year or two, I think it's just about how good can they be, how dangerous can they be come playoff time, and can they get over the hump. And I think for this team, they are just going to be very, very fun to watch. Although I will say one thing that is a little bit scary with this deal from what I'm reading online, maybe it is, maybe it isn't true, is that Leon Draisaitl, I believe, has a full no movement clause over the total course of this 8-year deal, which doesn't even kick in until after this upcoming season. So for the next 9 years, is Draisaitl going to be an Oiler? Probably. He could very well be an Edmonton player for life, but with him being paid, about $14 million a season on average for the course of this deal, you are a little bit scared about what's going to happen in the future. But if all this kind of transpires into a Stanley Cup victory or even more deep runs in the playoffs in the coming years, it's not going to be that big of a deal in, let's say year 5, 6, 7, or 8, especially if these first 2 or 3 years are very special. I don't exactly know what you're going to make of it as fans, but I think for Edmonton, they're able to keep a superstar player, probably make it even more likely that their star was going to sign with them, is probably going to especially sign with them now, even though I feel like he was going to, and are just in a spot right now, compete for hardware, compete for trophies, whether that be individually or as a team, and just be fun, which is really what it's all about. So anyway, what are your thoughts on this signing? What do you think for Draisaitl? Do you think this was a fair amount of money? What do you think for the Oilers? Was this a good deal to give him an 8-year deal with possibly a full no movement clause over the course of the entire contract? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Also, please make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. Everybody stay safe. Have a great night. And you love hockey, all right. Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes. This is your captain signing off. Have a great night.